Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here. Sorry for the lengthy delay for this next end of the year video. I was just busy, basically, sorry about the background noise. That's my mom's TV or whatever. Um, yeah, I woke up like around close to 10 a.m., so I'm still a little bit tired. I didn't go to bed till officially 2 o'clock, so I was like, ugh. But I got some sleep, so that's something good. So I'm returning to you for the decent to good albums of 2022 part 4 video that I'm going to be doing for you guys from numbers 35 to whatever number I get to. Excuse my burping, I just was like, I knew something was coming up. It just didn't know if it was going to take time or whatever, but please forgive my burping for a moment. So I'm going to discuss what I will be talking about in this decent to good albums of 2022 part 4 video from albums 35 to whatever number and let you know my thoughts on each album. So let's dive into this part 4 video for decent to good albums of 2022 video. Now at number 35 is Bryan Adams with So Happy It Hurts. Now, I haven't really returned to this album, but I remember the song On the Road, and that was the one that I wasn't sure if I liked. But there were some other ones I could appreciate from this album. And sorry about my yawning. It's just tiredness, of course. Still trying to wake up and have my coffee, of course. But basically, uh, this album was average. It wasn't the worst album I've heard this year, but it was something interesting. So, didn't have a problem with this album with how it sounded. So, at number 35 is Bryan Adams with So Happy It Hurts. Number 34 is Ella Mai with Heart on My Sleeve. Now, there's a song called Don't Fuck Me Up. I believe it was called DFMU. I believe it was called, and certain other ones as well that I can't remember, honestly. Thought I was going to burp again, so please forgive me. But still, it came out back on May 6th of this year, and it was an average album. I wouldn't say it's my favorite album this year, but it's something interesting. So at number 34 is Ella Mai with Heart on My Sleeve. I don't got much to talk about with this album because I haven't really returned to the album too much. But basically, for what it went for, I think it went alright. So it was an average album. Number 33 is Mary J. Blige with Good Morning Gorgeous. Now, I did enjoy certain songs from the album, like Good Morning Gorgeous, and the first song as well was pretty strong. Her vocals are pretty strong in this album, for sure, when she actually sings. And when she raps, it's not so bad, but yeah, it some of the production, like the one, what was it called? Celebration, I think it was called, or something like that. I can't remember what the song was called. Bring the Cake In or whatever, or something like that. It was with DJ Khaled in it. It was one of the worst songs on the album, unfortunately. But other than that, the rest of the album stayed afloat after that. So it made it on this decent to good albums list, of course. So it was average for what I went for. So at number 33 is Mary J. Blige with Good Morning Gorgeous. I did enjoy certain songs from the album, like the one with Anderson .Paak in it, and certain other ones as well. So yeah, definitely check this album out when you get the chance. It came out back on February 11th this year, so it was pretty interesting of an album. Except for the DJ Khaled song. That song was just, no, not for me. At number 32 is Loop Fiasco with Drill Music and Zion. Now, this album was pretty interesting. I think it was only 10 tracks, to be honest. But I did enjoy certain moments of the album for what it went for. So, yeah, Can't remember every song from it, to be honest, because I haven't really returned to it since I listened to it, but I do remember thinking it was an average album. So I remember kind of enjoying it for a brief time. And I know I gotta go back and listen to these albums again and see what I think of them. I just haven't really returned to this album since. But hopefully you enjoyed my album review for Luke Fiasco, Drill Music, and Zion that came out back in, I think it was June 25th I released it. So a day after it came out, of course. So at number 32 is Luke Fiasco with Drill Music and Zion. Alright, number 31 is Architects with the classic Symptoms of a Broken Spirit. Now, this album is average. I think Spit the Bone was the weakest song on the album. But Doom Scrolling is growing on me, and Born Again Pessimist did have some on the fence lyrics with me. I wouldn't say it's the worst song, but I wouldn't say it's the best song. All the Love in the World is a radio-friendly rock song or whatever, and anthemic rock song you could play at that they probably will play at their concerts or whatever. It's one of those arena rock songs for sure. So basically, I think Deep Fake was a strong track. Tear Gas being my least favorite. It hasn't grown on me too much as when I first listened to it. When I first listened to it, I did enjoy it, but now coming back to it, I'm like, it's not that great. Burn Down My House is growing on me, and Living is Killing Us was a pretty strong track. So was When We Were Young, and A New Moral Low Ground was pretty good, along with Be Very Afraid, the closing track being the best song on the album. So, pretty much, the classic Symptoms of a Broken Spirit album was average. It wasn't the worst album, but it's Architects at their weakest, in my personal opinion. So, at number 31 is Architects with the classic Symptoms of a Broken Spirit. I didn't want to put it on my best albums because there were certain songs on there that I wasn't connecting with, like Born Again Pessimist and Spit the Bone being the weakest, but that's just my opinion at least. Number 30 is Demi Lovato with Holy Fuck. Now, this album is good for what it went for. I was really impressed with this album. Now we're getting to the good albums, of course. From 30 to 1, of course. So that's where the list starts for the good albums. So, yeah, Demi Lovato made it at the top of this list because 29, I think she's like intentionally making that song about the Wilmer thing, and yeah, I did enjoy the song to a degree, but I think she's trying to make him look bad or whatever, or in some way. I'm not trying to say that I'm defending him for what he did. I'm just saying, for instance, Demi Lovato, I think, shouldn't have made a song like this, in my honest opinion. That's just me, I guess. So you might think, oh, well, you don't know anything about her and all that. I'm like, I've listened to her music for the past 5 years or so I kind of know. So I just think I think Skin of My Teeth was probably the weakest song, in my opinion. It wasn't the best song, but it was something. And Wasted was a very good song. I think after the 29 song, it starts getting better as the album kept going on. Freak is, it's something, but it's not great. It's a solid track for what it went for. And there were some other tracks like I said, 29. Holy Fuck. The title track is pretty solid. I like the song Eat with Royal and the Serpent. That one was pretty good, even though the lyrics were pretty weird and creepy. But it did do pretty well for what it went for. And Come Together was my favorite one. Forever for me was a pretty strong closing track to end this album. It was a 16-track album, if should say so myself, because yeah, it was pretty lengthy of an album, but it was good in its own way. So I think Demi Lovato did a good job at making it to the top of the top 30. So at number 30 is Demi Lovato with Holy Fuck. Number 29 is Bella Poarch with Dolls EP. Porsche, or however you pronounce it, I'm not sure. Basically, the Dolls song was a little weird, honestly, but I think it worked to a degree. And there were some other ones like, what was that other one? There was Dolls, Build a Bitch was another one that came out earlier last year, but last year in 2021, of course. And then she decided to release the EP on August 12th of this year. So I was a little impressed with this, and I think it's good in its own way, but does have some weak songs from it, if I should be honest. But basically, in my opinion, I think Bella Porsche Dolls EP was a good album and good EP in its own way, a good extended play. So at number 29 is Bella Porsche with Dolls EP. Alright, at number 28 is Lauv with All for Nothing. Now, this was a good album in its own way. I was a little impressed with this album. Like, Mali in Mexico was probably my favorite one. And 26 was pretty strong. I do like Time After Time. That was my favorite one. From the album, of course, and there's certain other ones I did like, but those were the three personal favorites I liked from the album. So I was a little impressed with Lauv's new album, and being like, I thought it'd be pop punk at first, but no, it wasn't. And I was getting worried that it was going to be pop punk, but he stuck to what he wanted to do and made a pop album, and it did pretty well. So at number 28 is Lauv with All for Nothing. Number 27 is Saint Asonia with Extrovert EP. Now, this is a good EP, of course. It took a lot of time for this to grow on me, and I've listened to it quite a bit more. Devastate being my personal favorite, Break the Mold being pretty good. Over It was a pretty solid track. Wolf, not the best song, but it's alright for what it went for. It's decent, at least. It's one of the weakest songs, but it's decent. And Chasing the Light being strong, and also Better Now being one of the highlights for the album. So I think Devastate and Break the Mold being the best songs on the album, on this short album, for this short EP, being something interesting. So at number 27 is Saint Asonia with Extrovert EP. I did like Adam Gontier's vocals in Devastate, and Break the Mold. He sounded really good vocally in that track. So I was really enjoying it for what it was going for. So yeah. Number 26 is the HU with Rumble of Thunder. Now they do like this throat singing, if I remember correctly, and it's a little weird, but I bet it just hurts their throat for sure. The ba-yum kind of thing and all that for one of the songs or whatever, and it was interesting. It was a good album, but it kept afloat most of the album, but I think there were certain songs on here I had my critiques about, but I can't remember because I haven't returned to it since September 2nd when I listened to it, or a few days after I listened to it I did, and then I just stopped listening to it after that. But basically I did enjoy this album. So at number 26 is the HU with Rumble of Thunder. Alright, at number 25 is Biba Doobie with Beatopia. I think she did a good job on her album, but I have my critiques on it. It's not the good album of the year. but it made it in the top 25 for sure. So I don't remember every song from it, to be honest, because I haven't returned to it since I listened to it, but I remember thinking, okay, it's not so bad for what it went for. Sorry, I thought I heard dripping in my sink or whatever, because I'm near my kitchen, of course, but basically, it's just distracting me, of course, so I will have to end this video soon, but basically, I did enjoy some moments of beabadoobie's Beatopia album, but there were some weird moments in the album with how she was singing certain songs. So at number 25 is beabadoobie with Beatopia. Right at number 24 is Senses Fail with Hell Is In Your Head. I said Senses Fell. Please forgive me if I said that. This was a pretty good album. It was good in its own way, I meant to say. So there were some interesting moments about this album that I did enjoy. So I can't remember every song from the album, but I remember enjoying it for what it went for. So at number 24 is Senses Fail with Hell Is In Your Head. Like I said, I don't remember all the songs to be precise, but I remember thinking it was a good album for what it went for. They're more of a pop punk band, or punk rock band, or whatever they go for with their sound, but they did a good job on this album. Number 23 is Maggie Rogers with Surrender. Now, this was a good listen for sure. There were some songs I did appreciate from this album. Can't think of one in particular right now because I have to go back and listen to this again. It came out July 29th this year, but I remember enjoying it and thinking, okay, this is a good album for what it went for. So at number 23 is Maggie Rogers with Surrender. Like I said, don't remember every song from it, but I remember enjoying majority of it and having my critiques on some songs, of course. So she did a good job on that album. Number 22 is Noah Cyrus with The Hardest Part. Now this was a good listen for sure. There was certain songs on here that I did enjoy. I think it's a 10-track album if I remember precisely. So I was pretty much enjoying majority of it for what it went for. And for what it did go for, it was something interesting. So number 22 is Noah Cyrus with The Hardest Part. I'm going to have to return to you for part 5 for the basically decent to good albums of 2022 video. So definitely tune into that next video when I get ready to release it for you guys. I don't have time to talk about the next album, which is number 21. So the next video will have from 21 to whatever number I get to. And then I should finish it out with part 6. So hopefully you like this video and the upcoming videos that I will be planning on doing very soon. So with that being said, hope you enjoyed this decent to good albums of 2022 video for part 4. I did the best I could to make it as good as possible. Stay safe, take care, and I'll see you in part 5 pretty soon in decent to good albums of 2022 video.